everyone. Thank you once again for passing by Niceroy 101 channel. I really appreciate your presence here. Today I'm going to work on these two headbands. The first one I use a single fabric cut and the second one double fabric cut. So not wasting too much time, let's just go straight on to the point and see how these two were made. Going on to our first headband, you are going to cut 20 inches by 10 inches. Now it is not constant that you cut 10 inches always. It depends on the width you want. So it could be 20 inches by 8 inches or 20 inches by 7 inches. It depends on the width you want. Now 20 inches works for a regular head size. That's the size that fits most. If you are making it for a child, you can do 16 inches by either 10, 8, 7 or 6 inches. Okay, so and if you are doing it for someone with a lot of hair, or for a man with a big head, or somebody with a bigger head, then you can go 21 inches by either 10, 8, 7 or 6 inches on the width. Okay, so what we are going to do first is you fold the right sides together, then you take it to your serger if you have a serger, and you are going to serge from this side to the other end. If you don't have a serger and you have a sewing machine, you just put the stitch on a zigzag machine, on a zigzag stitch, and you stitch from here to the end. If you only have a straight stitch, you can use it, but make sure as you sew you stretch the fabric a little, so once it comes back to place. When you are wearing it, you have a little room to open it so that the seams wouldn't break off. Okay, so I'm going to use a serger, so I will serge from one end to the other end. I'm done serging it. So if you sew, you go ahead and sew. I'm going to turn it inside out. Okay, and before I continue, let me say this. When you are using a stretchy fabric, sometimes you get a fabric that stretches on both sides. Like the fabric I'm using, it stretches on the both side, so it's easy, it's easy to cut. So this is the fabric, it stretches on the length side, and it also stretches on the width side. So this is the length side and this is the width side. If you have a fabric like this, when you are cutting, you can cut along any line you want, but some fabrics only stretch on the width side and do not stretch on the length side. So when you are cutting, you make sure that you cut along the side that stretches, so that when you are putting on the headband, it will be easy. So take notice of this. So now you make sure this will be easy if we create a notch here. This is where we stitch direct to the other side. You create a notch, direct to the other side, you create a notch. Now you join the stitch line and the notch you've created together. So now this will come in the middle. So this part is going to be the wrong side and the other side is going to be the right side. So you are going to put the right sides together. If you have a fabric that frees, you can go ahead and make, if you have a serger, you serge along the two edges before you do this step. But this fabric doesn't freeze, so I'll just go ahead and do this step. You put them together and make sure that the notches and the stitch line are all in, are all in line. Okay. You can go ahead and put a pin down to hold the two sides together for you. Okay, so what you are going to do now is to fold it like this. Then after folding, now this side two comes together to be four. You fold this side and the other side, then you take these two and bring it back exactly to the center line, and you take these two, you take it back to the center line on that same side for both. What I'll do is I'll now, let me take another, pin this down, and you take it to your sewing machine and do a straight stitch. If your serger can do it, you can use the serger as well. You do a straight stitch here. Now let me go through this process again. You fold the right sides together, make sure the stitch line is showing, then you hold the notches and the stitch line together to make sure they are all in line at the center. You fold it on the center line, you bring this side back to the center line, you go to the other side and fold it also back to the center line. You can use a clip or a pin to hold it down so that you can use the sewing machine to stitch multiple times to make sure that it is held in place. So the stitching is done. If you have too much excess, you can just use the scissors to cut it down, and if it's not too thick for your serger, you can serge again. Okay, so this is how it's going to be like. You open it and you have a beautiful center. I've seen other types on YouTube. This is easier for me to do, so this is it. It's so easy. You can do it in minutes. Okay, I like the wideness, that's why I made it 10 inches, so now it becomes 5 inches. I can cover up a lot of place. If you want it thinner, then you reduce the width length. So we are done with our first headband. Let's go on to our second headband. Okay, so this one we are going to cut two pieces of fabric, 20 inches by 6 inches to my preference on the width. The length is 20 inches using a stretch fabric. Then the width, you can make it either 5 or 4 depending on how thick you want it to be. So 20 inches by 6 inches for mine, and as I said in the previous one, if you are making it for a child, you do 16 inches by the 6 or 5 inches. If you are doing it for someone with extra hair or big hair, you can go 21 inches by 6 or 5 inches. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. We are going to fold the two. You can hold it down with pins if you're a beginner, so that you wouldn't stress trying to sew them together. And we are going to sew the from this side to the other side, both edges. So you can either use a serger or use the process that I explained in the first one with a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch. Now finish sewing the edges, so I'm going to turn both inside out. If I'm doing a lot of them, this is what I use to turn it inside out. You just put it in like this, so easy, then it's done. I'm going to put it in the link below, in the description, the link to it in the description, just in case you want it. It's easy to use it. Okay, so now, oh, that is it, see. Okay, so you are going to turn this for the stitch line to be up. Then you are going to let this go with the stitch line facing down across it. Then you hold this together and you hold the other together. So now you are going to put the two together and you make sure the stitch lines are in the center, and you are going to stitch all together. Now this is what I do to hide my stitch line. I add the stitch line that is coming, the end that is coming to me, I add it here. Then the other side, I put the right side of the other side to the back of this one. When I do it like this, by the time I finish and turn it, the stitch line will go inside and nothing will show on the outside. So let me go through it once again. So we have it like this, with the right sides all showing. What you do is make sure the center lines are meeting and they are in the middle. You can hold them together with a pin to let them stay in place. What I do is I take the one coming to me and put it right here at the top. Let me put the pin there again. And I take the other one. Always make sure you are putting the right side on, so the stitch line is facing me. I take it and make sure I put the right side where there is no stitch line to face the other side. Now I'm going to reposition the needle. What I'll do is to take it to your sewing machine or a serger. Now using a sewing machine is easy because this is quite thick. You are going to run just a straight stitch. You can do multiple times to make sure it's in place. I am now done stitching. So as usual, if there is excess, you cut it off and smoothen it. Now I open it like this. So you see, this is inside, it's not showing outside. So whether you turn it like this or you turn it like that, there is nothing showing. It is hidden inside. You can go ahead and do a top stitch, but I prefer to leave it just like this. So now we have our cute headband done. It has a good stretch. So these are two beautiful headbands, one with a single fabric cut and this with a double fabric cut. I appreciate you staying by to watch. Oh, you can go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. Thank you so much. Bye bye.